let's talk about time and where your time goes. And I guess like me, you probably find that you look around at the end of the day and it's just disappeared, it's gone in such a flash. Or at the end of a week, and again, you still don't know really where that time's gone. What about a month? Or even 6 months ago? 6 months ago we're laden deep in snow, and now look at it. So time goes really quickly, and what I want to help you do is understand where your time goes and whether that's where you really want to be spending it. So the first way of doing this is to find out where you actually spend your time. And we probably don't monitor it, we just carry on doing whatever we do and then reflect at the end of the day. So now we're going to flip across to a chart that I use, which I can then help monitor my time, and I hope that you'll be able to use the same to figure out where your time goes.
Here's our time graph, and what we do to analyse time is to split the 24 hours in the day into four quarters, 4 24s, 96, so that's close enough as really matters for this exercise for doing our percentage calculation. And so the aim is to block out, and you can do this by hand. I've got a digital version that I use, but I print it out and then write on it, because that for me is the quickest and most effective way to track the time properly. So in this example, at the top here we've got sleeping time, then we've got some activity, some personal care, maybe exercise, yoga, meditation, whatever it is you do first thing in the morning. And then some sort of dead time, but that may well be having breakfast. Red, which is danger time, that's perhaps travelling. Then a day of work, some more travelling back to home, and then some green exercise time, and then finally orange, which may well be whatever it is you're doing in the evening, and then red time down the bottom down here, and then back to bed. So taking this analogy, we can add all the times up to see how many hours or how we actually spend the percentage of our day. Now the important thing with this is once we understand where we're spending our time, then we can start to make the decisions of whether we want to allocate that time elsewhere. So maybe perhaps there's a project or a new initiative or something that you want to do to change your environment or change what it is that you're doing. Well, how do we find time to fit it in? Because I've no doubt, like me, you find that the day is absolutely packed full. So what we're going to do in the next day is to change it completely and see if we can find some time that maybe we can squeeze that in to free up time when we can do other things. As you can now see, on that day we've just split it out. So we have sleep for 7 hours, 28%. Personal care or activities, 10%, which I think is a pretty good outcome. Maybe some time doing a hobby or something else. Well, we've got 6% or an hour and a half allocated for that. We have 36% or 9 hours allocated for work. 20% is lost time, that's what we cannot account for. And if we add all of those up, that comes to 100. In this example, we've lost 20% of our day, 5 hours of time has just disappeared. So let's have a look at a slightly adjusted day. If we can free up some time of that 20% to maybe spend, let's say 2 hours a day. Could you imagine that? Allocating 2 hours a day to something completely different? Let's see if we can do that. So in our example now, you can see that we've had a few changes. We've got a little less sleep, get up earlier in the morning, but we go to bed earlier at night. We then have more time for the activities that we really want to do. We still have to have the travelling, we still have the same amount of work, more travelling, more time in the evening to do what we wanted to do, and we go to bed a little bit earlier so we wake up fresher. Get more done in the morning when you're fresh and vibrant. And so we've gone from having 20% of time wasted across to 12% of time wasted. So there's still a margin there. We've still got enough to soak up the things when you just want to sit down and shut off and disappear or travel or whatever it is. But just by allocating, and that's a really subtle change. Sometimes we see dramatic changes where if you're trying to escape the bucket and you're trying to do something really, really different, then what you can actually do is have a huge shift of all of your time from where maybe it is at the moment to where it wants to be. And the first step in all of this is to fill out this form for a couple of weeks, and then you'll gradually start to see where the patterns are and you'll know where your time goes. And when you know where your time goes, then you can make informed decisions on how you may want to adjust it and prioritise some things over others. Now this is a very simplistic version, but it may well be as you go through just writing down, cross a line through and say, right, work, sleep, hobby, whatever hobby it is, be specific, because it might be that you find that the hobby that you're doing may not necessarily be where you'd really choose to spend your time. And so that's a really important thing when we come to figuring out where time's going to go, where you spend it, and to help you escape that bucket.
So once we figure out where our time goes, we can now start to figure out the priorities. The things that you really want to do and the things that you want to adjust maybe. So there may be a load of things that actually are really important to you as you go through the paradigm of change, as you start to escape those buckets where you find yourself at the moment, and then we can gradually start to realign it. Would I rather be doing this, or would I rather be doing that? As an example, I get up very early in the mornings, and that enables me to do these videos at the beach when it's nice and clear and tranquil and peaceful. But also enables me to do the things that are really important to me every single day. And that may well be exercise, mindfulness, those sorts of things which I've found over the years make a big difference to me. And I need to do the exercise, because if I don't, I'll quickly fall back into the buckets and I'll end up piling on the pounds and then going back to where I was 6 years ago. And so it's not just a transformational event, it's an ongoing journey, and that's why we are here to help you escape the bucket.